Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today, bringing you one of my favorite Pendulum decks. That is Pendulum Magicians. It's ever since it was released. I've always liked this deck. I think it's really good for if you like rank 4 toolbox decks or decks that can make easy level 8 synchros. This might be the one to look at. I think it's really good, really fun. There's better ways of maybe making it more of like a combo deck if you had in like Dragon Engines or Endymion Engines, stuff like that. But this is more or less a pure Pendulum Magician deck with the Rusty Bardich in here, which I think just adds some nice power to it. So yeah, if you guys aren't already, make sure you're subscribed. There's a link in the description for TCG Player if you need any of the cards in this video, and also a link to my Patreon if you want even more content. So let's get right into this. Starting with the best magician, without a doubt, that is Harmonizing Magician. Basically, the only way you prefer to use this is Pendulum summoning it from hand, because then you can just special summon any Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in defense position, and it has no effects. So this is a level 4 Dark Tuner, really good. So you can just special summon a level 4 Magician, and you'll have either a rank 4 from that, or a level 8 synchro, simply from just Pendulum summoning this one card. Really good. And then I actually play 2 Purple Poison, mostly because it's a real way to just destroy boards with Time Pendulum Graph and Purple Poison. You'll get to pop 2 cards, and I really like this card. It also, if your Dark Spellcaster monster battles, you can have it gain 1200 attack, which does help you every now and then. And then I chose to just play 1 Oath Dragon. Most people play 2. It's completely up to you what you want to do, but this is good for, you have to have a Magician in your other Pendulum zone for his Pendulum effect. And you can just add a face-up Magician from your face-up extra deck. Which is really nice for just gaining advantage, and then also you can, when it's normal or special summoned, you can add a Magician from your graveyard to your hand. So decent both of those effects. Black Fang, when this one is destroyed by battle or card effect, and you can destroy it with its own effect, you can target a Dark Spellcaster in your graveyard and special summon it. So that is a good card. And then Double Iris, just one of that one as well. It is only at 1, but this is your way of, when this card is destroyed, you can add a Pendulum Graph card from your deck to your hand. So that's searching you your Star Pendulum Graph or your Time Pendulum Graph. And then I also chose to run 1 Wisdom Eye. I think if you happen to not open either Pendulum Call or a way to get to Pendulum Call, this is going to be your next best option. It's just a good way of loading up your extra deck, basically. And then the last Magician that we're playing is Janky Magician. I really don't do rank 7s in this version. So basically, this is just a powerful Dark Spellcaster that is nice to get out. And then for some of our extenders, we play 3 Chronograph and 1 Time Gazer. Basically, it's just free summon from hand with Chronograph, and then free summon or set this in your scale if you need it there. So really good there. And then the best opening by far is getting Dark Worm to the graveyard without controlling a monster. So you get just a free summon of a Pendulum monster, and then you get to search Gate 0. And that's why I play 2. You just really want to gain that advantage. And it's kind of, this deck is higher scale, heavy. So getting a lower one like this just for free off of summoning the Supreme King, I feel is just really important for this deck. And then the final 2 cards is our Phantom Knights engine. So just 1 Silent Boots and 1 Ancient Cloak. Since they are level 3s and we have a level 4, it actually works pretty well with this deck. And then of course you're getting a dark monster on the field as well. So that is it for the monsters we're playing. For the spells, most important one for this version especially is Pendulum Call. You just discard a card and add 2 Pendulum Magician monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. And then your Magician cards in your Pendulum Zone cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is really, really nice. And so that card you discard, if it is a Dark Worm, that is your best possible opening, because you'll get to then special summon this, search gate 0, you'll have 2 Magician Pendulum monsters off of this. It's really, really good. If you can happen to open Dark Worm and Pendulum Call, you should win if you resolve, obviously, all their effects. And we play 3 Duelist Alliance to basically search the Pendulum Call. This can actually also search our Double Iris, because this card's is always treated as Pendulum Dragon card, and this searches any Pendulum monster or Pendulum Spell and Trap. So it can also search your Star Pendulum Graph or your Time Pendulum Graph. So this is just a really good card in general. It is only once per turn, but still, having this to search whatever else you need is really important. And then play a lot of draw cards. 3 Allure of Darkness. We play mostly darks. We play 3 Pot of Desires. All of our super powerful cards we're playing at 3. You know, like your Harmonizing, Pendulum Call, all those, Dark Worm. So we are totally fine with that. And then lastly, Upstart Goblin. You don't have to, because we actually are over 40. But I just like it. You know, in a Pendulum deck, I usually just like to throw in Upstart Goblin, even though we're not playing like the Endymion engine, where or Magical Abductor, where it can come in handy. So it's just there. I like it. I always have, so it's in there. Then we played 2 Dragon Shrine and 1 Foolish Burial. That is basically just to get to Dark Worm to the grave, because that is just so important. And then Monster Reborn. You don't load up the grave, but you will, have a few monsters in the grave that'll be nice to summon back. Called by the Grave, especially for like Pendulum Call, hoping that doesn't get ashed. Called by the Grave should help you there. And then, as you've seen, we play the 1 Star Pendulum Graph, and then 2 Time Pendulum Graph. This card will just flat out win you games against certain decks that just can't get rid of it, or can't build a board through something like this. This just, every turn you're destroying something, and it kills a lot of decks. And we're playing 2 Fogblade. Potentially, if you go into Rusty Bardage, you can just flat out set 2 monster negates if you desire. Otherwise, you can also get a Shade Brigadine for just another level 4 monster to either Synchro Summon with or Xyz with. So that is it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we of course play the 1 Rusty Bardage. That's all you need. You'll make this just with a couple of dark monsters, and simply just, get any of these that you need by just sending a Phantom Knights monster from your deck to the grave. And then for going second, I have a Phoenix, Unicorn, and then IP Masquerena is really nice to end some boards on. If you made a Rusty Bardage, you can't use that as link material, so sometimes you'll just make a Rusty Bardage and then a IP Masquerena. And then hopefully have another monster that you can then go into, like a Unicorn on your opponent's turn or whatever. Just a good card to have. I play the 1 Selene. All of our monsters, or just about all our monsters in the main deck, are Spellcaster, so this is generally easy to make. And then our linked 4s are Appaloosa, and then Boral Sword. It's always been good in Pendulum decks because you can generally flood the deck, or flood the field from your extra deck with monsters to make, easy linked 4s. And then for our synchros, we play a Dawn Dragster. easy to make because, of course, harmonizing, and then you can summon off of harmonizing the Time Gazer, which is level 3, and then off of our Phantom Knights we have, of course, our 2 level 3 Phantom Knights. So it's actually fairly easy to make, and with your ability to get a couple of monster negates for free, it's nice to have a card that will negate a spell and trap. So Dawn Dragster I really like in this deck. And then for the level 8 Synchros, we have a Borreload. Generally want to make that if you can. If not, the next best is Omega, when you're going first at least, to just rip a card out of your opponent's hand. Kind of nice. And then for going second, I really like to make Ignister, and it gets rid of problematic cards because it does not destroy and it does not target. So you just shuffle one card on the field into the deck. Simple as that. So that card is really nice. And then for our rank 4s, Abyss Dweller and Tornado Dragon are generally the ones I'm doing when I'm going first. But sometimes you need to make a Dugaris to get some more cards in hand to then be able to make a better board. Or if you just don't have anything except the ability to make a rank 4, a defense position Baguska will sometimes just shut your opponent out of the game for at least a couple turns. So that is the extra deck, guys. You can of course make changes to it as you see fit, but yeah, this is currently how I'm playing the deck. It's again one of my favorite decks, especially one of my favorite Pendulum decks. It was one of the first ones I truly built to play in a tournament. Yeah, just a fun, consistent, really good just Pendulum deck. So hope you guys like it, and we will of course catch you on the next one.